A black day for the Washington Commanders. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Thursday's edition of the live stream here on the Washington Football Maniacs channel. My name is Greg Sykes, and if you're new here, this channel is dedicated to the Washington Commanders. We have been following the Commanders here ever since late 2020, the COVID years. And we've been having a lot of fun doing this. And that said, what does Greg mean by saying that it's going to be a black day for the Washington Commanders? Well, simply the fact that we're wearing the alternate black uniforms. And you're going to be like, really? What's such clickbait that was? All right, well, click off. Now, go with me with this. So the Washington Commanders have chosen to wear their alternate black uniforms against the New York Giants this weekend. And, the Washington Commanders have not really fared too well wearing those uniforms. And I think they have won maybe one game wearing those uniforms. But otherwise, they have lost more times than not wearing the alternate uniforms. Now, those uniforms are a little controversial because they are definitely a departure from the tradition, right? The tradition has been burgundy and gold, or honestly, if you want to get technical, it's more of a mustard yellow, but we call it gold. And a lot of us traditional fans, we're not really liking the idea of, the franchise moving away from, having such a departure from that. But new fans, certainly, they embraced it probably a lot more because, they are ready for something different. And a lot of people tend to love the color black. I'm wearing black today. I love the color black, slimming. But, the uniforms don't look terrible, honestly. They don't. They don't look terrible. But to me, when I first saw them, the first thing I thought of was the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was like, that's the Pittsburgh Steelers up and down. And honestly, if we ever play the Pittsburgh Steelers, maybe we should wear the alternates against them. That way, both teams could be rightfully confused. But, if you check Twitter land, X land, whatever you want to call it, social media in general, you kind of get an equal divide in what people think about the uniforms. That they tend to either really like the alternates or they hate them. But at the same time, it's kind of that way with the regular uniforms. People really didn't like the white jerseys because, the shading, the burgundy shading of the numbers seemed like they were off when they first came out. I don't know if they kind of touched them up in the second year or not, but the white jerseys kind of grew on me a little bit. And especially when they wear the burgundy pants. To me, that's my favorite combination of the Commanders uniforms because honestly, that is about as close to the traditional look that it has to, especially the ode back to the glory years, because during those years, the Washington Redskins almost exclusively wore the white jerseys on burgundy pants almost all the time. There was only very few occasions where you saw them wearing the burgundy tops with the white pants. Most of the time, you saw them wearing the opposite. And so I kind of like that combination. But whenever they break out these alternates, I'm just kind of like, I just get a bad feeling about it. I'm like, no, you know, I guess I am kind of, what's the word? Just superstitious. I think I've grown to be a little more superstitious because I really feel like this team is so snake bitten, even with new ownership. You know, I'm kind of like, yeah, maybe there's certain things that just give us such bad luck that we shouldn't even try to go for that. It was kind of like back in the glory years when Joe Gibbs tried the shotgun formation with Joe Theismann, and it just totally blew up in their face. And, you know, Joe Gibbs was like, nope, we're not doing that anymore. And you never saw the Redskins with Joe Theismann, or actually any of the other quarterbacks after that, get into the shotgun formation under Joe Gibbs in the first era ever again. Never. They always lined up under center, always. And I don't know if that was superstition or not, but yeah, Joe Gibbs hated that. So he, you know, it didn't bode well for him. So he was like, that's enough for me. I'm not doing that anymore. So I kind of equate that to the black jerseys and the black uniforms in general. I'm kind of like, I just feel like that we have our worst luck in those uniforms. And whenever I hear that we're breaking those things out, I'm like, oh no. I get a bad feeling. And honestly, if you guys have watched my last video that I released last night about how this Giants game scares me, then you know I already have a bad feeling about this. Why? Well, because the Giants are ripe for the picking, right? They're down to their third string quarterback, who was Tommy DeVito, is that his name? Yes, I know. I'm going to have Danny DeVito's name in my head. Who's not, right? You know, Mr. Live at Home with his parents is starting. They're ripe for the picking. They've got so many injuries. They are a downtrodden team right now. And this is the time when you feel like, oh, this team's going to give up. I mean, they have literally nothing to play for. And that is when teams like that will turn around and bite you, because they do have something to play for, and it's called pride. And these guys are professionals, and they're going to go out there and they're going to play hard. There were times where, you know, Washington was in the same situation, and other teams had ridden them off, and they turn around and they would beat teams that they shouldn't beat. So it happens all the time. And I don't know. I have such a bad feeling about this game. I really do. And hopefully I have such a bad feeling about this game that it's going to turn out to be such the exact opposite of my feelings, that I hope that you guys come back and be like, dude, you really should not talk about games anymore. I love coffee. Yeah, because whenever I feel positive and so sure about a game is when I feel like the team either loses or they just barely escape with a victory. And whenever I feel like, oh yeah, they have no shot, then they wind up playing like the best game of the season. Yeah, so obviously I don't know how to pick them, right? But this game just literally scares me, and I know I'm not alone in that. I know there's a lot of you guys out there who are probably saying the same thing. You're probably thinking, you know, I kind of feel you on this because, you know, the Giants, you know, they got walloped by Dallas twice. They lost their starting quarterback. They lost their backup quarterback. They're down to the third string quarterback. They've lost so many weapons. They didn't have a lot of weapons to begin with on offense, but they've had so many injuries. But it doesn't matter, because it seems like every single team this year that has had some issues, with whether if it's injuries or they've just been in slumps or whatever, we always seem to be the get right team. I mean, that just seems to be the case, right? So I hate the fact that this could be a get right game for the New York Giants, but whenever everything seems to be at a point to where like it cannot get any worse, we have hit rock bottom. That is when you see teams play. They dig down deep and they just figure it all out, and then they wind up playing really good football. And I expect that out of the Giants. I honestly do. I don't, because honestly, nobody expects anything out of the Giants, but I do. And that's why I think that Ron Rivera had better have this team prepared and ready to play on Sunday, because I just don't think that, I really don't think that this team is going to have a breeze of a game. I think that this team is going to be in a dogfight. I really do. Why do I say that? Well, Brandon and I, whenever we do our video, we'll cover a little bit more into this, but I'll just go over real quickly on my end of this. I think I have maybe another 5 minutes or so, but honestly, our defense is terrible. It's 31st in giving up points. So that's one thing that will allow a struggling offense to get right very quickly. Daron Payne, John Allen has been honestly absent since Chase Young and Montez Sweat has left. So there's been no help up front, and we knew there was going to be some sort of drop-off in talent on the bookends, but I kind of felt that we would get a little bit better play out of somebody like Casey Toohill. We know that Smith Williams has been hurt. So honestly, the defense has not played well. Linebackers have been very sporadic in their play. And of course, our secondary plays well at times, and at other times, it's a circus when it comes to penalties and things like that. And so just overall, the defense has played just horrible. And there's honestly, though, it's weird, because there's still some people who are like, well, you talk about defense played well. I'm like, what have you seen that I have not seen? Because, I mean, look at the rankings for the defense. The defense, look what they gave up. I mean, defense has not played well at all. And honestly, the defense is continuing to go, trajectory down, not up. So, and it's not on the defense. The offense, for the most part, has played pretty well. But there needs to be a little bit more consistency. The offense was, they struggled a little bit in the first half last week. I felt because the play calling was not very balanced. I think there was some struggles because you saw some 3 and outs there, and I would like to see. I mean, you're gonna have a 3 and out here and there, but I would like to see an offense that is going to be able to move the ball consistently, and I think Eric Bieniemy just needs to be a little bit more balanced in his play calling. And that, that's funny because that's the other conversation that I have with some other fans that, there are some fans who feel that Eric Bieniemy doesn't need to be balanced in his play calling, that he doesn't need to run the football. And I'm like, what? Yes, you always need to run the football. Here's the thing. Just because the NFL is a quarterback-driven league does not mean that you totally ignore the running game. Just because that your offense is a pass-first offense does not mean that you don't run the football. Totally opposite. And just because that you're a pass-first offense, doesn't mean that you don't have to be balanced. You have to be balanced. You can be a balanced offense and be, and favor, pass to run or run to pass, however you want to favor it. And, and it's still going to work. It still fits the narrative of a quarterback-driven league. It's just that you are keeping the defense honest by running the football, wearing that defense down. Because that's the thing. If you're dropping your quarterback back all the time, then the defense is going to start, dropping some of their guys back. They're going to play more nickel and dime. They're going to start rushing their guys more. They're going to start putting more emphasis on going after the quarterback, blitzing the quarterback. And eventually, they're not going to respect the run because they know that, they're going to pass all the time. And so we just need to go after the quarterback, and then that's it. We get them into a second and long, a third and long, we've got them. So running the football helps. And it's been like that for years. It does not matter how much the offense has changed throughout the decades. It always stays the same, that you still need to run the football. And, Eric Bieniemy, I think as he continues to develop as a play caller, he needs to understand that as well. I think he's done a good job of helping to develop Sam Howell. But, that was another point that I kind of made in my video on Eric Bieniemy is his development of Sam Howell due to the fact that he calls so many pass plays for Sam that there isn't much left that Sam hasn't seen at this point, that of course he's going to be developed because, Sam is relied upon so much that he's going to be developed, right? And so the fact that he's probably overutilized, but for Eric Bieniemy as a play caller, he also needs to look at his other weapons, and he needs to get a little bit more creative. And I got B-Rob. I've got to be able to use him more. I can use him out of the backfield. I can pass to him, but if I give him the ball more, hand the ball off to him more as the game progresses, he can churn out yards, which is going to help to wear down that defense. Did you notice that in the second half there late? That's what Seattle was doing to Washington's defense, and it was working. Seattle was getting chunk yards. And when Washington had that last scoring drive, what were they doing? They were running the football. So that just goes to show you that there needs to be balance with that. So I'm going to try to tie all this in together because I have pretty much reached my time limit and I have to go to my main job. But I want to tie all this in together as saying that it may be a black day for the Washington Commanders if they don't call a balanced game and they don't get on top of the Giants early and they don't start playing better defense. They really need to knock the Giants in the teeth early and knock them out early and get on top of them and not allow them to have a chance, because if they allow the Giants to have a chance, the Giants will beat Washington. I guarantee it. Brian Daboll has just had this knack for beating Ron Rivera, and Ron Rivera's game, management has been less than stellar. So, that's why I say it may be a black day for the Washington Commanders, other than them simply wearing their black uniforms, which I kind of like, but I don't like. Call me an old fuddy-duddy stuck in the mud, but I love my burgundy and gold. What can I say, man? I love my burgundy and gold. All right, folks, if you enjoyed this stream this morning, leave me a comment section. If you're watching this on the recorded version, then leave me a comment section. Let me know how I did. I will be back, hopefully with Brandon. We will be recording a preview of the Giants-Commanders game, and we'll be giving our keys to victory for the Washington Commanders, so you're going to want to check that out. I'll try to have that video out to you either late this evening or sometime early tomorrow morning. It depends on how quickly I can get everything encoded and out to you. With that said, folks, I hope you have a great Thursday. We are so close to the weekend. So close to the weekend, so I can almost smell it. Even me, after being stuffed up with this cold, I'm actually finally starting to sound normal again. Although I did like that Godfather sound. I kind of wished I would have kept that, I think that would have added something to the podcast. But anyway, folks, you have a great day. I will see you in the next one. Peace.